CNN was the first 24-hour all-news channel, a challenge to the major networks ABC, CBS, and NBC.
Network news at that time was only 30 minutes a day.
Turner said, I believe that people want live news, and there's no reason they shouldn't have it anytime they want.
And it was only through satellite communications that vision of his became possible.
CNN would use a network of satellites to beam live reports to viewers around the globe. The major networks broadcast only to America. On the eve of the Gulf War in 1991, more than 100 countries received CNN coverage, including Iraq.
Saddam Hussein and his henchmen in Iraq, they watched CNN. CNN was their network, and that became a great advantage.
President George H. Bush had promised that it would be the biggest airstrikes in the history of military if indeed Saddam did not pull out of Kuwait. The deadline passed on January 15.
At 3 a.m. Baghdad time on January 17th, the airstrikes began.
The first bomb to fall was to sever the communications links in what we call the AT&T building, their telephone network building.
To get their reporting out, the major networks were relying on phone lines in the telecommunications building.
So I sent a major from my staff up to where there was a television set, and I said, let me know what happens.
And sure enough, at the exact minute, the television broadcast just went dead.
Whoa, holy cow. That was a large airburst that we saw. And I think, John, that airburst took out the telecommunications.
All the networks went dead, except CNN.
If you're still with us, you're going to hear the bombs now. They are hitting the center of this city.
Saddam had allowed CNN to establish a private audio connection to a bureau in Amman, Jordan.
Satellite technology brought that audio signal from Jordan back to the United States, and from the U.S. we were able to transmit that globally.
The skies over Baghdad have been illuminated. We're seeing bright flashes going off all over the sky. Peter?
We were not sure about whether or not we'd survive the night, to tell you the honest truth. But the opportunity to actually talk about what we were seeing was unique.
There were loud explosions.
We were telling a story not just to America, but to the entire world.
Within several hours, the actual photos of pictures of what was going on were broadcast.
Tens of millions of viewers tuned in to CNN's coverage that was being beamed around the world by satellite.
To be able to see the American bombardment, it was pretty extraordinary. You know, Vietnam film got shipped to Tokyo, Hong Kong, back to New York. It was days before you saw anything. This wasn't days, this was now.
It's one of those real amazing moments in the history of journalism where everything changed in a minute.
We knew what we were doing was unprecedented. Unquestionably, it really led to sort of an epic shift in the way in which news was covered and the way in which news was consumed. And we knew that we were a part of a much larger satellite technology equation that was really, in many ways, changing the world.
Communication satellite technology was delivering the war in real time for all.